Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Formula One podcast straight to the apex. I'm reliably informed that there's no race this week, but that doesn't stop the podcast machine turning, and the boys got together and did a podcast anyway. So I'm sure there's going to be lots of Formula One goings on, even without a race. Before we get started, and while I've got you, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. It's massive help to us. It's big help to the podcast all over the place. If you've got a couple of minutes spare, please consider dropping a comment and also leaving a review. A review really helps the podcast, and we really do appreciate it. Right, let's get started. So here we go. This is CookieCast, straight to the apex.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello again, and welcome to episode 5 of Straight to the Apex. We're your hosts, myself, James Stainforth, Mark Wilkin. For the benefit of the listeners, that was Mark waving, and Tony T-Dog Rawson. How are we doing, lads?
Yeah,
I'm not so bad. How are you?
Yeah, good. You?
What have you been up to?
I'm good.
What have you been up to? What have you done today?
Today, I'm not going to talk about today. I want to talk about the weekend because I've been aching.
Aching?
Yeah,
From
so...
what?
From go-karting, of course. Nothing kinky or anything else like that.
That's sad.
Yeah, apparently pegging isn't in her kind of remit anymore, so yeah, it's out the window.
Where floats your
No,
boat?
it was... Yeah. No, we went... I went go-karting and I'm too old.
No, you're not.
No.
You're not.
It
No,
I love
hurts.
go-karting.
So, we went to Tamworth, and we was going to go see the in-laws and pick up little and everything. So my brother-in-law said, "Oh, do you fancy going go-kart?" I was like, "Yeah, all right. I haven't been for a few years, but I always enjoy it." So we paid for it and everything, and we got there and found out it wasn't your normal kind of go-karts. It was 125 cc's.
Ooh.
So they fly at like 60, 70 miles per hour.
All right.
And they're beasts. They're absolute beasts. But anyone who's gone go-karting knows that you don't have your power steering, you don't have this, you don't have that. So it's full-on, full-blown strength and everything. And wow, I only did, I'm not going to lie, lads, I did 20 minutes. And when they told me it was 20 minutes, the first thing I thought was, is that it? It was 20 minutes? Come on. I said, that's not all. I got halfway through and I was like, I don't want to do anymore. I want to go home. I just want to have a bath and just curl up in a ball and die.
Was it an endurance race or was it just like an arrive and drive type event?
It was just arrive and drive, and you got your fastest laps and everything else. But there was like a leaderboard on there, and of all F1 drivers to be on that leaderboard, Nicholas Latifi was on it, and he was like 5th, I think, at 57 point seconds.
He can't have managed a lap. He can't have managed a full
But he's
lap
taking the
without
piss
crashing.
there.
Look, I just read that as like, well, he did it. He didn't crash. Well, I'm saying he didn't crash. That could have been his fastest lap, and then he crashed. We don't know, but yeah, I didn't do that well. I did a minute 5, so I walked out of that thinking, you know what? I'm just 8 seconds slower than an F1 driver.
That's not
I
bad.
don't have to tell everyone who the F1 driver is.
You can do a lot in 8 seconds. 8 seconds is a long time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All I learned from that, though, when I got out of it was, first of all, I suddenly realised, yeah, you're 40 in a few months, which was always nice. It's all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, it's official. I am actually getting old. And the only other thing I thought was, how the fuck do these guys do it for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, or whatever it is?
Because it's a
every
life.
other week?
They train for it, don't you? You see them all with the necks and the helmets on and doing
'Cause they
all
get
that.
paid.
But I mean, we've all been go-karting together, you know.
Yeah.
very slow go-karts compared to the 125s. And it is hard work, like you say, but you think that pretty much every F1 driver on that grid started when they were like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Like, how the hell are they doing it at that age?
You've got to have a lot of this.
So-
You've got to have a lot of that.
Yeah.
You
This.
have.
To be able to do it every
Backing.
week, have all the kit, have the training and all that. That's why I've decided I'm not going to grow the lad up to be an F1. I'd love him to be an F1 driver, just so I can go with him everywhere. I go, oh, look, it's fucking brilliant and all this kind of stuff. But no, that ain't going to happen. I'll have to stick with golf or something. There's still some good money in that.
Well, there's a lot of money in golf, yeah, but maybe not as much as F1.
Retire, guys.
I need to do more of this.
I mean, them guys, even if we need to do more of it, but
we need one together.
Well, the local one does do an open night where it's like a race series. You go on the night, or you can book. You pay, I think, 35 quid. I've wanted to go to one for ages.
Yeah.
Let's do it, because I mean, I can't. Why did we go karting? Was it a stag? Was it your stag do, James?
Yeah,
stag do.
It was. Yeah, it was. I can't remember who won.
Want me?
I don't know. I can't really remember.
It was me, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Mark won, as always.
I remember having a good race with your mate, and he was like, oh, I thought I'd turn up and win. I was like, all right. You didn't though, did you? I
can't even remember who that was. I think it was John kid. Martin. And
yeah.
Skinhead kid.
It was Martin.
Skinhead. He likes NFL, because I've seen him in Tribal.
Drives an Audi. Drive the Audi, I think.
James Cadden? Cadden?
Oh, John Cadden.
Yeah, John.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was John. Yeah. But we had a right good race. Sorry, Jay. Turn.
I can't remember where I ended up. I think I crashed. I remember crashing. I remember totaling some motherfucker. And then I carried on. And they pussied out. And then I just remember getting stuck behind somebody. I got stuck behind some fucking big guy. And I just could not get fucking past him. I could not do it.
I remember the guy you took out, because it was only on like the 3rd or 4th lap.
Yeah, just when
he was making those excuses of, I think I broke my thumb or something. I couldn't do it, so I just thought I'd best pull out. I was like,
pussy, fucked him up. Carried on. I turned it into fucking wacky.
Yeah, suck it up, princess. You got another thumb. Get on with it.
Started fucking smashing people out. Bam, bam.
You don't need your friends.
You don't see Formula One drivers going, "Oh, I broke my thumb. I can't play."
We need to go to a different one though. Isn't there one in Leeds? Isn't there a big one in Leeds? An indoor one in Leeds?
I think there's an indoor one in all now, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's crap. It's awful.
Is it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's literally like following the safety car around. The one in Leeds that I did for my stag do was probably one of the best tracks I've been to, in the sense that the pits were upstairs. It was all lights instead of guys with flags from the Hull City Council. It was all proper. And the go-karts actually had brake lights. So that was quite cool. And you had an up and under bridge as well.
That could be quite good then.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I haven't been there for years, but we did a twin engine one at York years and years ago, but I don't think that's there anymore. That was outdoor. But the one at Leeds is good. But I quite like Craven Park. I think they've changed the track since we've all been.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, they've made it a little bit faster. So, and they've got brand new karts and stuff. So I keep saying, like I say, these open night race nights that they do, we should all get on it. Get some merch on it and go. Let's advertise.
Hell yeah.
Just turn up with like a Sharpie and that they give us for half an hour, just straight to the apex, and then just hope they don't notice.
Start signing.
I'm really sorry.
Start signing everything. We're really famous.
We'll just
slapping stickers on all the cars as we walk by.
Your business cards out. Here you are. Take one of them. Take one of them. on my formation, like when I've won, I'll just stop and like pull a big straight to the apex flag out and start waving it.
Yeah, and it's got like a QR code on there, which as soon as you click on it, it takes you straight to the bloody podcast on Spotify. So, yeah, in case you haven't noticed yet, guys, slightly different podcast this week. There wasn't a race this weekend, so don't worry, you haven't missed anything. Obviously, as always, big thanks to Andy and for Cookie Cast for giving us the opportunity to do this, as always. Yeah, we wanted to bring something else. We wanted to bring a bit more stuff. We don't just want to come in and talk about the races and stuff like that. Obviously, it's going to be F1 related. We're not going to come on and start talking about the golf. What do you think of the Masters or anything else like that? Because wrong podcast, folks. We wanted to talk more F1 stuff. So we've got a bit of news as always. We're going to talk about Charles Leclerc crashing in Monaco in a very expensive car. A few other things, but we've also picked like one subject each that we're all going to talk about and just bore the crap out of each other, and probably you guys as well. So if we do, apologies.
So yeah, some like real life questions, like some real fucking problems that we need to solve, like real life questions, and also like get to know each other a bit more, maybe for the viewers out there with some questions as well. I think that'd be great.
We know you enough. We don't need to know you anymore.
I was going to say after episode 2, Tony, I think everyone knows you well.
I'm trying to pull it back.
I know too much about him, to be fair.
I'm not an absolutely swearing, unhinged machine of a person. Yeah,
he's an angry man.
I just don't know what to say anymore now. Now the camera's live. Sometimes I just need to settle down. We've pissed and I have pissed too many people.
Piss this week, folks, not shit. Piss.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well done. You've improved. Well done.
I just need to reel it in slowly. Just reel in the professionalism on the podcast while dropping the subtle F-bombs that we need. I think there may have been a goal as well in the football.
What's wrong with the occasional fuck here and there, Tony?
Yeah.
Just make sure you don't shout anything really bad while watching the football there, Benny.
Yeah.
I remember the other week you said, you're really dedicated to this and stuff, but, you've got the football on in the corner right now.
It's Liverpool have scored, by the way. Just,
Oh, thank you for letting me know, Mark.
You're watching it. How do you not know?
I was going to say, yeah.
Those who are watching on YouTube will see that I am peering.
Yeah, he still can't see the score.
But this isn't a football podcast. This is about F1.
No,
so
this is F1.
Let's get back to the fucking point.
Yeah, you tell us, Tone.
So I've done it straight away, look.
Hey, you brought us back on subject. You brought us back on subject. Well done, you.
So, what news we got, guys?
Well, I think, shall we start with the one that we were discussing before the podcast began? Charles Leclerc crashing a very expensive Ferrari.
So, Tony,
has he got the balls to win this, do you reckon?
Is what?
You're sorry?
Has he got the balls to win his home race? Has he?
What, Monaco? No. He'll make a mistake.
I think why he's done this historic event at Monaco, where they drive classic cars around the track, and he's ended up in, is it Niki Lauda's car?
Yeah.
From some whatever season away. Obviously, it's ridiculously expensive, and it's done it again. Sorry, it's crashed. He's crashed it. This just adds another edge to the Monaco, if you ask me. I don't think he's going to do it. I honestly think he's going to bottle it.
Well, so it is something that's really interesting. I don't know if you guys have noticed it either. I saw it the other day when I was looking at the crash and stuff like that, and then like a meme came up on Facebook, and it was pictures of crashing. It was like Monaco 2018, Monaco 2019, Monaco 2020, Monaco 20. I was like, oh, hang on. And I had to quickly look into it, and I was right. He's never finished a race at Monaco in his F1 career.
Never.
Ever. Nope.
How
So then they
many
go and go,
little-
hey, this guy can't finish a race at Monaco. Let's stick him in a really expensive Ferrari and see how he does.
Well,
You'd
if
have had
Phil
more
access,
like Latifi or Stroll in there, wouldn't you?
bashing
don't
Stroll
know,
and
I think-
Latifi again.
What stopped him last year?
Well, I
Did he
can't
have a-
remember. Was it last year or the year before where he was on for pole and he binned
Yes.
He got pole, but he binned it, and then he couldn't start the race because they thought he'd got away with his gearbox being okay, so he didn't have to drop. And then on the lap
I think
to
that
the
was
grid,
last year.
was it last year? Because on the lap
I
to
think
the
that was
grid,
last year, yeah.
his gearbox was shot, wasn't it? And he had to retire the car before he started.
Yes.
And I didn't.
There was another year where I think it was one of his rears just absolutely obliterated. And in the video, you just see this. The only way I can describe it looks like you're looking at an angle grinder where you've just got this 10-foot wide wheel on one side, just spinning, and all you can see is the wheel trim.
I think we have said it
I
on
can't
a
remember what
previous.
happened the other 2 years.
We've said it on previous podcasts, I think, referencing previous episode.
Yeah.
He has got a crash in him. He's got quite a few crashes in him, and I don't think he's consistent enough to win the championship at all. And we see Sainz being as he is. Ferrari are going to bin another one, aren't they?
Yeah. I don't know. Last year, he pulled out shortly before the race on Sunday because of a gearbox problem.
Yeah,
he was on it. He was on it. So his car's a bit more reliable it's pretty reliable this year.
No, but he wanted reliability last year. He hit the wall in qualifying, and they wouldn't.
Yes,
they didn't want to replace the gearbox because he'd have dropped 5 places in the race, and obviously it's Monaco. You can't.
I thought it was fine, didn't they?
So is this the year he does it?
No, I'm going to stick my neck out now. No, not this. I don't think he will win it. I don't think he'll be on the podium.
Interesting.
Big claim. Big fucking claim. Sorry. Big claim there.
Not even the next race, and there's his prediction already.
I mean, well, hang on, because predictions ride. Yeah. I've got a gap to claw, so I might put him in. I'm not, I'm not. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Watch him win this week, and then he'll be like, "Oh, I think Max is going to win Monaco because he's doing really well at the minute. I'm his friend.
I really like Max. Max wins everything just like me.
I'm winning the league, so now I can make my own decisions.
Winning friends."
Fuck you.
It's all right, Mark. It's all right. We'll remember this. All the fans will remember this moment.
It's like it's recorded, It's like it's recorded. We don't need to remember. We'll just go back.
Oh, yeah. Great.
But no, going back to what you were saying there as well, buddy, with the he's got a crash in him and everything. You're right, and with everything that Sainz has gone through as well the last couple of weeks and all that stuff, the way it's going at the moment, Red Bull's going to catch up, and then they're either going to fly off with it or it's just going to be a tight fight to the end. I don't know, but it all depends on how the salary cap thing goes for Red Bull, because it's been confirmed now, hasn't it? They've spent something like 75% of their budget.
Is it confirmed? Because I've been, since you mentioned it, I've been looking, and there's so many different stories. Some are saying they've spent 70-odd%. Some are saying they've spent 18. Like, has it been confirmed now? Has it that they've spent quite a lot of money?
I'm sure it has. I can't remember where I saw it on. But yeah, that's where I saw the figure that 75% of the budget's been done. Right. I'll find out for obviously next week, definitely, if it's been confirmed. But from what I can see, yeah, it's looking that way.
Because
there's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of rumors, but they're denying it. The development budget is 75% of the total budget is on updates, but denying it. They're denying that is. But they needed to, didn't they? Really, they needed to fix the car, get it up to. But I mean, they're already near the top, aren't they? Fighting for the top two. I mean, he was behind. He did DNF 2 of the first 3 races.
What is the budget? Do we know?
I don't know. No, I honestly don't know.
No idea.
The amount of millions of dollars, I don't know. I couldn't find that out anywhere. I did have a look.
But, so, I mean, really, when you think about it, from a budget point of view, would you be looking at saying, right, let's say 75% of our budget can go on to upgrading the car, to get us to our peak point, and then the last 25% of that goes towards repairs, all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you look at it from that kind of standpoint, it might not be a bad thing, because after seeing how they was at Miami, maybe they are at that kind of point now, and they're just like, you know what, yeah, we're good. I don't know. Is the honest answer? I don't know.
I know. Reading some stuff yesterday, apparently they've got a massive package coming to Barcelona to reduce the weight of the car. Like, seriously huge.
Yeah, I saw that.
As well as changes to the floor and the diffuser. And then they're also planning an even bigger aero package for Silverstone. So if this is a team that spent 75% of the budget, the 2 massive updates coming. Like you say, I'd like to see how much they are actually spending. But then Ferrari apparently have breached this in the previous years. So them calling out another team is a bit like, what are you doing? Why are you bringing this up? We've done it. Shut the fuck up.
Just all retaliation, isn't it? And all this kind of he said, she said.
We say this, don't we? We say this every episode. It's more drama and everything in Formula One off the track. It's more about tattletaling and pointing the finger at someone else to get it off your car, isn't it? That's all they do now. And Christian Horner's the biggest actor going. He's the best at it, to be fair to him.
He's annoying though at the moment. He's not moaning enough for us to actually do another Horner's Corner.
He's not, but his time will come. The winning.
It's the last thing he moaned about, I agreed with. But...
Yeah, his time will come.
We're warming to him.
Yeah, when they're losing, that's when he'll go full Horner, and we can really have a dedicated episode like this just to whinge about that twat.
I go really.
Welcome to episode 16.
Really
for the next 45 minutes, we're going to see how much of a twat he is.
Sorry, it's a 4-hour episode.
The story of a great cock.
That's another podcast maybe you're involved with.
Speaking of cocks, Tony, how is the Pornhub thing going? Have you found us on there yet as a streaming platform? Or
Nowhere.
You keep looking, mate.
The guys at Cookie Cast need to be on this shit because we're missing out. I don't get it. I've been everywhere. It's not there. I've been on the dark web. It's not there.
Maybe as the youngest in the group, you need to do the podcast topless, and maybe then they'll pick it up
with nipple tassels.
If you want to go nipple tassels, that's entirely up to you. I didn't suggest.
That'll get the boys in. No, this is a serious F1 podcast. We're not going that way. We're not that desperate just yet.
Well, I don't know, because I mean, if you did, I suppose we could start broadcasting on OnlyFans.
That's where the money is. Kerry Turner's on there paying the bills.
Yeah, they'll be paying us to get off.
It's crazy.
You'll get one message. Look, lads, I'll give you whatever you want. Just don't come back on this channel again, please.
Never broadcast ever again. How many knots do you want?
Get off the streaming platforms. Just stay on OnlyFans. We'll just keep paying you.
Stop talking about Formula One. It was really distracting me mid-stroke.
Oh.
Sorry, listeners.
It's really took a turn this week, hasn't it? We ain't got a race to talk about, and look what happened. Carnage.
Yeah, this is the real lads.
Does anybody have any
Professionalism
questions?
went out the window.
Any serious questions? Any of life's mysteries that need sorting out, or any?
Mate, you've normally got the good ones.
Okay. I'll start with.
Go for it.
I'll start with one.
Okay.
If you'd won the Euro Millions last week, what car would you have bought? So let me set the scene. You've won. You've gone crazy. You've proved yourself. Well, you don't have to win really to do that.
Yep.
You've rang them up. You've gone there. You've verified it. It's in your account. All the numbers. You're back at home. You're having a brew, naked, or doing whatever the fuck you want.
You're a millionaire. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
What car are you going to buy?
Is this where you tell us that you won the 184 million?
Oh man!
Because I'm not going to lie. When you sent us that message in WhatsApp saying I'm going to do this, we're going to do this. If I win it, I'm going to give you all $1 million each, and blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah.
And then a couple of days later, it got announced on the news saying there is one winner. I was like that. Is this how you're going to tell us? You're going to tell us live on the podcast? You got like a reaction video.
If I fucking won, I would have turned up to your house. I would have smashed it. I'd have smashed your door down.
I'd want you to turn up with a money gun and give him $1 million in a money gun. That's how I want my million, right? You can have one in each hand, 500,000, just giving it the. That's fine, not a problem. Do I have to pick one car or two? Because I know what car I'd buy, but then I know what I'd have a sensible one as well.
Go on then. I'll give you two then. Two. All out. And then your daily driver.
Right. You'll like this, Tony. Not sure James will. My first car I'd buy is a black Mercedes G-Wagon.
Nice.
All right.
Absolute.
All right. Is that your daily driver?
Black wheels, black windows, just absolutely fucking bob on.
Not going to lie, mate. Sat in one yesterday.
Did you?
Driving around that. Well, I want drive. Well, yeah, the father-in-law.
What? He's got a G-Wagon?
He's the very proud owner of a G-Wagon. I know. It's beautiful.
Damn it.
I'm not going to lie. When I first found out, I looked at it and I went, is he going into selling drugs or something like that? But yeah, I got in it and I just love the thing.
It's ace. Katie
and no one argues with you when you're driving.
You are?
No one argues with you when you're driving one towards.
Does he drive it around like Mr. Bean in Hollywood, just like this?
Oh, mate, he's got the windows down, smoke going out of it, and he's just got Snoop Dogg playing in the background. Nah. He's a good lad. He's a good lad.
I think.
What's your other one then, Mark?
Aston Martin DB9.
I've been in that too.
Oh, fuck off.
That's actually the father-in-law's other car.
So my cars are your life, aren't they? Basically, what I'm saying is,
yeah. Well, he got the DB9 years ago. He had it before I even met the wife. But he can't get it in anymore. It's too low down for him. That's why he wanted the G-Wagon. Believe it or not.
He got bored. He got bored, Mark, of your dream car and bought a G-Wagon.
So, what would I have then? Well, if you'd have asked me this last week and I'd have said, you know what, I'd like Niki Lauda's Ferrari, I'd be really pissed off this week. I would want a 1965 Shelby Mustang GT500.
Eleanor. That is a great shout. Yeah, that is a great shout.
And for my other car, it would be an Aston Martin as well.
What the fuck?
But it'd be the DB6.
DB6?
Has to be the DB6.
Not the DB5 off Bond?
It's the DB6 on Bond.
No, it's DB5.
You sure?
100%. That's why I was shocked
at
the DB6.
I could have sworn it was a DB6.
No, DB5 off Bond.
Well, I tell you what, on that bombshell then, and in my own embarrassment, while I quickly Google this just to see how wrong I was, we'll take a break here. And then we'll come back with some stories for you.
See you in a bit.
Speak soon, guys.
See you in a bit.
This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome back, guys, to episode 5. So I need to apologise for... Well, no, I don't even need to apologise because you know what? I'm human at the end of the day, all right? And humans make mistakes. I got the DB6 and the DB5 mixed up. What really pisses me off
Is that new?
is that knob jockey there was once again right.
Thank you. I won't be smug about it. Look, I won't be smug. I like cars. I'm not going to be smug. Hey, we all make mistakes. All I'll say is, my 2 favourite cars, you've been in them, you fucking knobhead. So let's carry on.
Yeah, but mate, it's not like I've got the cars, is it?
Well, they're your family, the links. I'm bitter about it. So let's just carry on. I don't want to rant like Tony and say fucking hell every sentence. I've been there, done it off camera. I'm calm now.
Yeah, leave that to the professional there on the right hand side. So, what's your 2 cars then anyway, Tony?
My 2 cars.
Aye.
Right then. I don't know. Is the straight answer because there's so many. I've got 184 million. I could buy it, bin it,
right?
And then
it's your
buy
question, and you haven't thought about it.
I know, but that's why I asked the question because I was intrigued with the answers.
Gun to your head.
This is when we find out, innit? He's putting a list together and then he's just going to bugger off and leave us 2 to the podcast,
No,
because he's actually won
thought
it.
About this.
Right, gun to your head. Gun to your head. What car would you go out and buy? You have to buy a car. Lambo,
you've got to look
Ferrari,
at it,
MacLeod.
Do I want the car now? Do I want the car now? Immediately? Because these cars, there's loo time and shit. And if you want like new Ferraris and stuff, you have to be on a list in a club.
I'm going to fucking rant again. You've got 884 million. You literally can walk into that dealership and say, "Oi, knob jockey, get me that car." So what car do you want?
And at the same time, how many 1965 Shelby Mustang GT500s do you see driving around on the road? Because that's what I want.
Yeah, I've got a pocket full of money. You will get me that car. So come on, what do you want? Come on, sir.
Right. So for a daily driver, I'd have a Ferrari. But it wouldn't be any just Ferrari. It'd be. I love the look of this car, and it looks fucking insane. An SF90.
Right, okay. That's your daily car.
That's my daily.
Oh.
I'm 184 million. This screams.
Right, okay.
That screams 184 million. That's me.
Right.
That's me.
Fine. Yep. That's your daily
and then
run around.
For my weekend, it'd be a lowrider, 100%, full on, 100% a lowrider. It'd be. Let me just find it on here.
You'd go to West Coast Customs, wouldn't you, in America?
Pontiac, or a Chevy, so I can fucking bounce that motherfucker up and down. Rolling.
I'm more surprised that you just called it the lowrider. You didn't go with the kind of driving my Lolo.
I didn't realise we was doing a podcast with that Mikey Carroll. Fucking Chav.
Rolling down.
Okay,
now. Down Preston Road.
Mate, you drive down Preston Road, you go like that anywhere with the potholes and speed bumps. I mean, come on.
And if you drive that slow, your wheels ain't going to be there time you get to the end of the road.
Big shout out to Hull City Council. Keep up the good work. You're doing great.
My council tax has gone up for that very reason. Oh, no, wait. You're on that.
Wow.
So, like we said earlier, we've got a couple of stories we want to tell. So, who wants to go first?
Host.
I'll go last.
You go last.
We're going by the usual host of the week does it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, mine got a story. It's kind of like an aim or something that I'd like to speak about on the podcast. A certain thing.
I don't really want to do mine now. I just want to listen to his.
I know, yeah. Shall we just scrap our 2 off and go, you know what? This is just going to be an episode for Tony. We'll do that for the next one. We can just sit there quietly and just let Tony just talk for 40 minutes.
I probably could, you know. I've talked so much shit. It'd be
we know.
Unreal.
Yeah.
So, story I've gone with is about a certain F1 driver called Jack, and I hope I pronounced his surname right. Apologies, Jack Brabham. So I'm not going to talk about his entire career and everything else like that. I just want to talk about his first Grand Prix title win, the last race, and how it happened. So Jack Brabham, he was a Royal Australian Air Force flight mechanic before. He ran a small engineering workshop, and then he started racing like midget cars and stuff like that. He's doing a really good job, so getting quite successful. So he moved over to Britain and started looking at becoming more of an F1 kind of driver and joined like the Cooper Car Company's racing team. Building the cars as well, you know, as they all used to do. You know, quite a lot of the big names that are out there now, like McLaren especially. They started, you know, building their own cars and racing them. And funnily enough, in this season in 1959, his sideman was McLaren.
That was interesting.
Taught the guy to drive and everything, pretty much.
God,
interesting.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm not going to bore with the whole season. It was only about 9 races or something stupid like that in 1959. But what happened was it was like last season where it all boiled down to the very last race, and it was between him, Sterling Moss, and Tony Brooks from Ferrari. Any of these won it or got to a certain position, they'd have won the title that race.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sterling Moss at the time wasn't having much. Obviously, he became highly successful and everything else like that, as we all know. But at the time, he wasn't really doing that well. He had the same gearbox as Brabham and everything else, but the difference was that Brabham was constantly working on his gearbox, and because he had that engineering background, he was making all these little tweaks because that gearbox wasn't the most reliable thing. And Sterling Moss had that issue a few times. So anyway, it comes to race day. From what I remember rightly from your notes was, I think it's the 4th or 5th lap, Sterling Moss's gearbox went. And in like the first couple of laps, Tony Brooks got in a bit of a collision and came off the track. So all Brabham had to do was finish the race. So the only issue that Brabham had with his car was it was quite heavy as well. So they put less fuel in to try and reduce the weight and everything else and just go for it. And he didn't know about positions or anything. He didn't know where anybody of the other drivers were, because they didn't really have the radio technology and everything else that they have now. And he's driving along, and he's got McLaren behind him just as his wingman, just keeping everybody else at bay and stuff like that, including Brooks, who's coming back to a degree, if I remember rightly. Including a guy who I can never remember the name of. He was the Italian driver. 1 second, guys, I'm just looking for it.
Was his name Marco?
Don't really matter. Yeah. Go on, Tony. You have a guess. Felipe Massa. So
was it Sebastian Vettel? He was Lewis's teammate. No one. Anyway.
Yeah. And Jack Brabham as well before that. Yeah.
Don't go there. Because don't go there. That wound's still fucking
So anyway, the two of them are driving along as this little McLaren. Sorry, not McLaren. As like a convoy, just going through a couple of laps, and Brabham had to slow down because, for one, he was aware of his fuel consumption. For another, he was also wanting to make sure that McLaren was behind him just to help him out where he could. And people was catching up and stuff like that, but McLaren was holding him back. And he comes to the last lap, and he gets about 400 yards from the finish line, and he runs out of petrol, car comes to an absolute standstill, starts spluttering, and then just stopped. Right there.
Gutted.
So he gets out the car. And starts pushing the thing. So I'm talking like end of Cool Runnings kind of thing now. He gets out the car and starts pushing it. There's other people running and he's waving them off because he knows if any of them touch the car, that's it, he's out.
Yeah.
Obviously, McLaren flies by and he waves him. He just says, go, 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 keep going. I can't remember who came second, but Brooks came third, if I remember rightly. And Brabham came fourth. But that wasn't enough for Brooks to win it. So Brabham actually won the 1959 Grand Prix, pushing his car over the finish line.
And they allowed him to do that and it stood?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Shit.
He finished in fourth place, pushing his car over and won the title.
Wow. They won't let him do that now, health and safety, would they? But wow, that's impressive.
But he did that. Then he won again in 1960 and then again in 66. Not long after that. I think he retired after that. But yeah, fucking awesome.
I remember the Brabham racing team. And obviously, I do know the name, but I didn't know that story. That's really impressive.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
I've heard of that, but I didn't actually. Yeah, I've heard somebody did that, but I actually didn't know the story. That's cool. Have you ever actually ran out of fuel in real life?
No.
Yourself?
No.
Hell fucking yeah, I have, guys.
Yeah, what shock.
It's me. Of course I fucking did, right? I was fucking driving an Audi A3 Black Edition.
Was you running
fucking
late?
Shit top, diesel, 2 litre turbo, shit top. Driving, and the petrol station was literally it'd been on the fucking light had been on for a while, but we're at the minute squeaky bum time. There's funeral cars on the side of the road, and people have slowed down. A few people start passing, so I obviously I start slowing down, but then I go to speed back up, and it just boom cuts, and then I lose my steering. And I'm like nearly coming into the middle of the road. So I'm like, fuck. So I have to pull the car back. And then I'm like behind the last car of the funeral cars. And I'm like, fuck. What the fuck do I do here? Fuck. I know there's a garage like 500 yards, like down the road and around the corner. But I'd have to back, you name it. Like, I fuck this car. I'm such an embarrassment. Like, within seconds, they all start piling out, don't they? They all start fucking piling out this house. And they're all walking to the cars and they're all looking, thinking, who the fucking hell is that? The last car? Who the fuck is that black Audi? And I'm in there like, please, just ground swallow me up right fucking now. And they all got in, drove away, and then I was just like, right, what the fuck do I do? And I was like, call my dad. He called somebody else. They come with a jerry can, fucking fill it up, and they managed to get it going on an ounce of fuel. And I literally drove around the corner, filled it up. But holy shit, I'll never do that again. Holy shit.
I was going to say, because you get in the bottom, your light comes on, and you've got about 30 or 40 miles. At no point did your brain go, yeah, I'm in a massive engined Audi. I need to fill that up. No?
Yes, but you know, you've got like a gauge, aren't you? Like, if I go to there, then I go there, then I'll need to fill it up.
No.
Sometimes you go from A to B to C to D. No. And then you're like, I need to fill this up right now. Don't make it to E.
There's no E. It's A. You're in the red.
Oh, you make it to E, Mark.
C's
it's called empty. It's called empty. It's called.
You've got balls, haven't you?
And then I drove that car through a pond. But that's another story.
Let's save it for the next mid-race podcast, shall we?
Jesus,
yeah.
What's even worse then was my speech impediment came out and I started talking like Jonathan Ross. Mid-race.
Midway.
Yeah.
No, that was a good story. Good story. I like that.
Very good. Yeah.
Lawson won it.
Yeah, nice.
Can't believe it.
It's a mystery for you
Go on,
there,
Mark.
folks. Aye, what you got?
Well, a bit.
Can you bear that, Mark?
You up?
Can you bear that story?
No, I can't bear that. I'm going middle of the road. So at weekend, as we had no Formula One, IndyCar was on. And I didn't realise a certain Mr. Grosjean is in his second season of IndyCar. Now, obviously, everyone will know Roman Grosjean, but probably what you know him for is Netflix and the big crash at the end, which I want to discuss, really. But just a bit of history on Grosjean. So 36-year-old Swiss-French driver in his second season now in IndyCar. This year, he's had 1 second-place finish. I think there were about 5 races in. Last year, he had 2 second places and a third. So he's actually not doing too bad in IndyCar.
Oh.
Grosjean made his F1 debut for Renault in 2009, but was dropped. He returned in 2012 with Lotus, the former Renault team, before he moved to Haas in 2016. He became the first driver since Michael Schumacher in '94 to receive a race ban. Didn't know that.
Wow.
Because it caused a multi-car pile-up in the 2012 Belgium Grand Prix, which I do remember. I don't think he braked first corner, and I think he skittled about 2 or 3 cars out, and he actually received a race ban for it. In his time at Lotus, he gained 7 podiums, 6 in 2013, 1 in 2015. Mark Webber branded him a first lap nutcase, as he was involved in quite a few first lap crashes, as well as plenty of others in his career. A lot of people remember him at Azerbaijan in 2018, where he'd be at the safety car weaving. Do you remember that one? And he was sick and he lost control, and he blamed Ericsson. He said, "Oh, Ericsson's hit me." And then on the cameras on board, he was trying to warm his tyres up, and he overcooked it and hit the barrier.
I do can't. Yeah.
He also caused another crash at the track that's coming up at Spain, where he went off, and then it was the one where he come back on track and floored it, and he just created a cloud of smoke. Do you remember that one where they was all driving into it, and literally, I think Hulkenberg and someone else, they all hit him because the track was just absolutely covered in the smoke that Grosjean had caused.
Oh, I can't remember.
Can't remember, but I'm watching that crash at Spa. Was it Spa?
Oh, yeah. The one where he skittled everyone. I mean...
Yeah, fucking ace. Literally airborne and everything.
Viewers of Netflix will probably know that obviously he had quite a few crashes with his teammate when he was at Haas. Him and Magnussen were constantly on the radio. But the biggest crash is obviously the Bahrain one, where his car split in two. I mean,
sick.
I can remember that. And I think we all spoke about it at the time. We was all like, have you just seen that?
It was just awful, wasn't it? I mean, seeing where the barrier was in the side pod and everything, and if you've got a rough idea of how the driver sits in there, the first thing I thought was he's been cut in 2.
Yeah.
And how that I'd missed, it was just.
Well, it was 67G, the crash. So we spoke about the Sainz and Ocon one, didn't we, at the weekend? Wasn't that about 42? I think we said
51 won it, yeah.
51. So this
50,
was 67G. Split the barrier in 2, and then the car burst into flames. Now, I was probably on the side of, I hated the halo. I hated it when it come in. I think it looks the ugliest bloody thing. It's ruined the cars. For me, that accident has completely changed my mind. And I don't care that it looks ugly, because that basically opened the barrier like a tin opener, didn't it? And it saved the kid. And I'd hate to watch live him dead. You know, I remember watching Senna when he died. that crash was just.
And what's really what? Because I've obviously I've seen the Senna crash, and when you look at the two in comparison, there's so much. I mean, Senna's crash didn't look anywhere near as violent as Grosjean's. I mean, to hit a barrier and just big ball of flame straight off, and you see Senna's crash, and the first thing you think is that the one, and then you realise it is. It's like shit me.
Well,
but it shows how much those cars have progressed in safety standards, and
it does. I mean, the Senna weekend, I think it was also Roland Ratzenberger, wasn't it, that died, and like you say, you see them crashes. I think he died in practice. I seem to remember. And like you say, you see them crashes.
Senna, didn't it?
Yeah, and you see them crashes back now, and like you say, I mean, I remember Jules Bianchi. Obviously, that was different in the sense that the digger, didn't he? And he went, obviously, but the halo would have saved him. And really, his death caused the halo. You know, that
probably, yeah.
Yeah, it was probably, that was the one crash that was like, whoa, that was a bit, we could have prevented that. Let's see what we can do.
Do you remember Massa? And he got hit, didn't he? By
with
debris.
the spring. The spring hit him in the head, didn't it? It knocked him out.
2009, that was. That's fucking hell.
Was it really?
2009. I thought that was like at least 6-7 years ago. What, fucking hell, 2009. That's when they first started talking about it. I can kind of remember, like, because he was just driving, the spring hit him, and it hit him like in his face. Like,
I can't remember whose car it was that he was following.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but I remember,
fracture and a freak accident.
I remember seeing his car, and he just went straight on at the next corner, and everyone was like, "That was an odd accident," and then he was unconscious in it.
Hungary,
was it right?
Spring, Rubens Barrichello.
It was off the Braun,
and it hit his head at 175 miles an hour.
I mean, like you've said, I don't want to tempt fate, but Formula One now is so safe, isn't it?
Well, it was the Verstappen and Lewis.
Yeah.
Verstappen ended up on top of him. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Everyone there. He'd have been dead.
Yeah. Again, the Halo's just proved what it's there for. But
remember Mark Webber in, I think, Valencia, where he went up in the air and did a 360 loop? Do you remember that crash? He actually hit the advertising hoarding above. Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of flipped, didn't he?
Yeah, that 20. Yeah.
The other one I remember was Alonso a couple of years ago, where he kind of went up, but he corkscrewed through the air, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a McLaren. He was buried in the gravel trap, wasn't he? And he just crawled out.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting some seriously big crashes. But I mean, you go back to Niki Lauda. In him and James Hunt's day, they literally did a driver's photo every season just to see who was left at the end. Like,
well, there was a I think it was on Netflix. I'm sure it was somewhere. I'm sure it was Netflix, but there was a documentary about one particular season in the '60s where it was just completely fatal. I remember hearing there was one guy. I think it was Spa. He was doing the uphill, and you've got that turn straight after the uphill, haven't you? And he just went straight and just went off the track, kept going straight, and he went into a tree. And they found out the reason he died as well is because he couldn't get his steering wheel off. And I never knew this, but apparently after that, Jackie Stewart always had a spanner taped onto his steering wheel.
Did he?
Just in case anything happened, he could just get it and just get the wheel off if he needed it. Scared the shit out of him, but yeah.
He's a Scotsman. He could have got that off without a spanner.
Sip of iron brew and that's it.
Bit
like Eric eating a banana.
Yeah. Yeah.
This conversation's really divulged from Grosjean.
Yeah, well, to be honest, we just talked about crashes. I wanted to quickly wrap it up because I want to talk about what your point is.
Yeah,
I'm done. I'm done.
My point.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I ain't really got a story, but it's kind of like something that I want to learn about, and we've kind of touched on it already.
Is this about the birds and the bees, Tony, or?
And Senna, there it is. Look. Oh,
Nice.
So supposedly, this guy, Senna, was pretty good. But obviously tragically died early. So I don't know. I just want to learn a lot more about him because he's highly regarded as one of the, if not the greatest F1 racer ever. Which I was like, how if he died so early? Now, supposedly, there's a lot of things to it. He was very the finer detail of stuff, and his work ethic was just ridiculous. And watching him drive, it was like a maniac. He was like on the edge, like all the way through. But he died, didn't he? So how do people remember him so fondly and hold him in so high regard? And I'm interested to see why. So I've got his book. I'm going to read it. I'm going to look into it a bit more. But he crashed. He actually crashed because the porpoising. He'd messed with the steering. He'd made the steering column. He'd modified it. Right. So when he porpoised at a point that disconnected it. So when he went round the corner, he skidded. I don't know if the back end went or something. He couldn't correct it. And he was going so quick, he ended up in the barrier and fractured his skull. And that's how he died.
I remember reading about the injuries.
I remember Alan Prost was always referred to as the professor. He was clinical. He was, I think, on track. He was literally every apex he hit was straight to the apex, some would say.
Exactly.
Thank you. Shoehorn that in there, didn't I? He was, he was the professor, and then Senna come in, this young kid, and I think a lot of Senna's kind of reputation was he set the car up. He, like you say, he worked hard. He looked at every detail of that car, but he could get in anything and drive it to the maximum. I think that's. I mean, I don't know a lot about him. It was just as I was watching Formula One and coming into it, but from what I know, in the rain, he was unbeatable. Absolutely unbeatable. He felt where the car
no fear
had grip. Yeah. He had no fear. He could feel where the car had grip. And I think Michael Schumacher was the one that took fitness out the car. But I think Senna was the one that, just give me a car, 4 wheels, engine, and I will drive the wheels off of it.
Yeah. What did they say? Somebody said, like, his talent was just incredible. Like, his talent for it was the greatest the sport's ever seen. And I'm interested to read his book because it's, as you can see, it's bigger than the fucking Harry Potter ones that I've read, so it's going to take a while.
I didn't think you could read.
Done in this season, and we can do a podcast on it, mate. It's fine.
Yeah, I didn't think you could read. I thought you'd have got the audio book. Or does Beth read it to you on the night? Chat.
Yeah, I'll lay there like this. And I fall asleep slowly, like a baby.
You know what, mate? I think that's a good in that. Because I'm the same as Mark. I mean, I'd only just really started watching it. I didn't have that much interest at the time because I thought it was just like, cars just going round and round. What's the big bloody deal and stuff like that. But, you hear about, the Senna and Prost thing and all everything else, and you hear all the stories about Senna, but I'm the same as Matt. I don't know much more about him other than Senna and Prost and the crash. But I think that would be a good podcast, though, for a future episode, maybe just to delve more into what the man was really about.
I think Top Gear did like shout out Top Gear, by the way. Fucking amazing show. Back in the day, of course.
Yeah,
Well,
it was. Yeah.
with the original
yeah. They did like it was like a few minute long like tribute video, and it was like that's what sparked it really for me. I was like, there's more to this guy than we know, because I started watching F1 with Schumacher, and he was just basting it. But and when he kind of goes, and he was like, he's regarded as like the greatest ever. Lewis kind of is on par with him now, if not a little bit better. If he was, and he, I'm sure Lewis has said he's Senna's his hero.
Oh yes, that's why he had a yellow helmet. Yeah. That's why he got into racing. Yeah.
I don't know what is it all about, this guy, and it's the more I read, the more I'm intrigued. So let's see what the book says.
Keep us updated. I'm intrigued to find out more. Like you say, I'd love to know more. I'd love to have been round and watched him come through. But then I'd love to watch Niki Lauda, because again, things I've seen and read about him, he's a very special driver. And I think, like you say, they come around generational, aren't they? And I think Senna's one of them.
I know it's early days, but do you think Max is the new guy?
No.
Young. He's very young.
No.
It's too early.
You think?
I don't know if he's got 3 or 4 titles in him.
Wow. That's big.
He's getting better. I think he's a lot calmer this year. And I think, but I don't know if he can sustain it like a Vettel, Schumacher, Lewis, Senna, be in contention year in, year out over a period of 5 or 6 years. I don't know if he's that guy.
Yeah, and for me, really, so you're trying to put Max Verstappen in the same kind of bracket as, Senna and other drivers like that, Niki Lauda and stuff. You've got to have for me, a particular personality as well. You can't just be, oh yeah, I've won it, but the first year was controversial and it's because I bully people and push people off the tracks and stuff like that and blah blah. You've got to have that kind of. There's got to be a level of sportsmanship there as well. Mm-hmm. It's a tricky one.
I think you've got these guys that you just mentioned at the very, very top, and I think Max is a bit low down at the minute, but
it's too early to even put him in the same conversation. Like you say, he's won 1 championship and he's been in a couple of years. He's too aggressive. I don't even think he becomes in the same conversation as them. I was never a fan of Michael Schumacher. I'll admit that. People will probably hate me for saying that, but he is in that top bracket. He's got to be. And Max, you can't put anywhere near yet.
So would you say that Max is kind of this generation then? This generation's like the generation after Lewis, like he's the leader of the next generation.
Could be. But we don't, like we said, we don't know.
Yeah.
Too early. Maybe it's too early.
Probably, yeah. I mean, you never know. He might turn it around. He might have that kind of wake-up call at some point. You never know.
Yeah.
If he ever leaves Red Bull, he might go somewhere else and then realise, hey, I've actually got to work for this, and he might turn a new leaf. We don't know. Yeah, no.
I think you've just made a really good point there. I think to become mentioned in that same breath, he would have to leave Red Bull and go and do it at another team. To me, I think that would be the mark of him if he was to go to, say, Ferrari and take over that team and win. I'll hold my hands up. But can I see him winning outside of a Red Bull? No.
I don't think so, no. Right, so there you go, listeners. You got to commit now because Tony's got a big-ass book to read, and then he's going to tell us everything.
Yeah,
everything. I will
Age by
And if you haven't
age.
got a degree or a master's in this when you finish, Tony, then there's going to be some serious conversations to be having here.
Yeah.
Not another degree. I can't do another degree. I can't do it. Can't do it. I've done so many. And they don't keep me warm at night. Money does.
What's one more?
Yeah.
You need to get that G-Wagon, remember? You got to work to earn it, mate.
Yeah, only one of us have been in one there, prick.
Yeah.
I might go down Priory Park and just say, fancy G-Wagon, have we got one? Yeah, that one there. Can I sit in it? Pick, run. nah, shit, mate.
How far did he get? He got to the rest of the road and that was it.
Can I test drive this, mate? Do you mind if I just test drive this?
Right, and on that, guys, I think that's what we've got. So, again, quick thank you to Andy and CookieCast. You can get this on Spotify, iTunes, pretty much any other streaming platform out there, including YouTube. You can now find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. So find us on there, give us a like. Like Andy normally says at the beginning and end of this as well, give us a like, subscribe, and click here and click there and click anywhere else that you can.
Speak to us, questions. We'll have anything.
Yeah,
Send some
give us a
questions
shout.
Send some really live questions in because we need to discuss them and we need to put this world right.
And we need to see if
tell
anyone's
us what else
actually
you'd like us to
listening.
discuss. We'll bring more content out to you as soon as we can. But for now, I've been James Stainforth as always. Well, that's never going to change. Let's face it. That's what I was born with. The legend Mark W. There, Wilkin.
Thank you.
T-Dog, Tony Rawson.
Peace.
I will speak to you next week after the race.
Cheers, guys.
See you again. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
So there you go. What do you think of that? Another podcast gone. More Formula One. And, yeah, all the goodness of Formula One. While I've got you, before you go, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. If you've got a spare minute or so, drop us a review. Let us know what you think to the podcast, because it really does help. You can also check out our website, thecookiecast.com. There we've got social media links and an email button, so you can get in touch with us if you need to. That's it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.